All right. That was fancy, Charlie. Look at that.
That's how we do it, man. Oh, wow. That's a start.
All right. Hello, everyone. Brady and Charlie here. We're talking the hashtag BB23, right?
2-3, Michael Jordan.
2-3, Michael Jordan, GOAT season. So we're cutting right to the chase. We just had the live episode. I'm dog sitting, so it's very weird in my house right now.
Rough.
I think I just hear him eating, so that's good. It's good for the dogs to eat. Anyway,
acceptable.
Let's talk the finale. All right, so we had the final three going into tonight's episode, and we already knew that we were going to have Big D and Ozza in part 2 of the challenge, which we saw that Ozza won pretty handedly. She won by like 7 minutes in I would say the championship round, but I mean, it kind of is. So it ended up being Xavier versus Ozza in part 3 of the final HOH, and Xavier went 8 for 8 and just swept it. And Ozza went 7 for 8, really good. She messed up on the first one, and then after that, each of them got all rest of the 7. So Xavier went 8 for 8 on that, which you were rooting for Xavier too, right?
Oh yeah, it's just kind of been our guy. I feel like the best possible winner for a little bit now.
Yeah, agreed. And that's something that Ozza was talking about too. So we'll just jump forward. We'll get to the chase. Obviously, there's spoilers here if you're waiting for some episode to air or something. But actually, it's probably live for everyone, even on West Coast, right? Should have been.
I would guess so.
Yeah. So anyway, Ozza ends up being the one cut third. So Xavier ends up sending her home and keeping Big D around. But Ozza, when Julie was talking to Ozza saying, if you would have won, who would you have taken? She was like, I would have taken Xavier, because I feel like the first black winner of the show should be someone that can represent all of us and that we as a community will all be proud of. And Julie's like, are you saying that you would have sacrificed all of that money in order to give Xavier the win? She was like, yeah. So it's like the three of them knew that Xavier should have been the winner and that he played the best game, and that it was going to be either Xavier or Kyland, and Xavier was the one that pulled the trigger. So in the past,
that was the winning move for him.
In the past 6 weeks, really, that was the only game move that really mattered. Was, okay, we get down to the cookout, who's going to win? Is it going to be Xavier or is it going to be Kyland? And it ended up being Xavier. So I know that this season, so we started off really hot. The season was really, really fun. We got to see the cookout get formed and then perfectly executed all the way to the final 6. And did it get quote unquote boring in the middle of it? It depends what you classify as boring. If you like watching an alliance really
completely steamroll,
just really just go to work and never fluster whatsoever, never falter, then it was a great game to watch. Same reason why people said that Derek's season was horrible, because Derek and Cody ran everything and then Derek won and that was it, right? So literally you could have seen that as a boring season too. So
I would myself personally, I kind of align with the word a little more predictable.
Exactly. So that,
and predictable to me kind of leads to boring in terms of weekly television. But that being said, still was excited for the finale. Still want to see who won.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying by boring, is that did the season go as expected from week 5 on? Yes. And yes, Charlie, this is something that we talked about weeks ago on our last pod that we did, which, by the way, apologies for not being as active on the pod. My softball season kicked back off and we play on Thursday nights. So the first couple weeks got rained out, so I was able to have a pod, but then after that we've been playing. So I mean, Charlie said 4 weeks ago, just write Xavier the check, and he got it.
The only person in his way was Kyland, and he convinced Kyland to take out Tiffany first, and
Mm-hmm.
hey.
So speaking of Tiffany, let's go to Tiffany. We know Xavier won, and we know Big D got second place. So $750,000 goes to Xavier, a person that didn't need the money probably, and second place goes to Big D, person who definitely didn't need the money. But Tiffany wins America's favorite player.
That was a great moment.
Was it also 75,000?
50.
50. So Tiffany wins America's favorite player, and we saw that it was between her and Derek X. Both of them very deserving, played good games, but also, didn't really burn any bridges. They were just genuine, really nice people. It's tough that according to Big D, Tiffany wasn't the one that formed the cookout. But
dude, that was tough.
God, man, Derek saying that he formed the cookout and he was the master. It's like, I think Tiffany.
That's why I kind of like Brent giving her the credit. That was a little unexpected.
Yeah,
but hey, you know what? Good for
no,
him.
I agree. So Tiffany, like you said, getting America's favorite player, that was a great moment, right? And she deserved it.
Absolutely. I thought the back and forth of well, because we kind of knew it was going to be either her or Derek X. We got that feeling. So just for them to just say flat out, Derek X and Tiffany, this is between you. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, sometimes they do the top 3 vote getters, but she was like, it's clearly a top 2 based on votes. His dad died broke. Oh, fair. Yeah, I actually didn't know that. So I have to admit I'm not because he talks about his lifestyle and his big time lifestyle all the time. So you would think that he would have some money, but that's interesting. And I know that he said that he was playing the game for his mom, which I like. And anytime someone's playing the game for their mom, I'm like, shout out to their moms. So and who needs money is not why you vote. No, that's I absolutely agree with that point. You are not voting for the person who needs money.
And that's why, like, Xavier keeps his, these guys, they don't tell their professions, because as we saw with so many of them, they were able to hide that, and it worked out because there's just that preconceived notion when you come into the house, which is
people are gonna say, okay, do you need and maybe they won't vote for the winner based on if they need money or not. Which, by the way, I'm seeing some new names in chat, so I appreciate you guys. It's the first time you're popping in. We were hyped for the finale and everything. So yeah, I don't think people would vote at the end based on who needs the money. Maybe they would. You would think that most juries would hopefully be able to put all feelings aside on anything and just look at gameplay, which I think that this jury did, hence why it was a 9-0 vote. Xavier clearly just played an amazing game, won a bunch of comps, made the big moves when he needed to. Very deserving champion. You and I, a couple hours ago, Charlie, we were just playing some video games together, and we were talking, where do you rank Xavier in your list of winners? And really, it's a very clean game when you think about the people who went through and should have won the game and did win the game. You think about, we already mentioned Derek. We talk about the Dr. Wills of the world. We talk about
Dan.
Who else had Dan?
Season
who
10
else
Dan.
had season 10 Dan, exactly. Who had just a nice, clean victory. I think Xavier did just that.
Yeah, I'm right now thinking Xavier's win. It's up there to me personally with like June Song, and in the sense of kind of a top, it's probably near the top 5. I mean, you'd have to really break it down and look at it, but being part of the cookout and how great they were, Christian said it on the show, the greatest alliance to ever play. This is absolutely true. They never faltered once, and they even brought up to Tiffany. They were tempted to, but never did once. And
Emily mentions that Derek F's reputation was demolished by Ali calling him names, and that's hard too. If you've got a beef with what a lot of people consider to be the best boxer and some consider the best athlete of all time, people are going to generally side with the bigger name. And so if you are someone that was a fierce opponent for that person, you end up suffering a lot. It's like all the hate Eli Manning gets because he went to battle with Tom Brady twice and beat him. And even though everyone knows Tom Brady was the better quarterback, it's like, it's not saying that Eli Manning was terrible. So Jake, so you answer this one, Charlie. Do you think Ozza and Derek F will be friends outside the house? I would tend to say everyone will be friends, at least to start.
Yes. They're gonna put the game aside. I mean, you could feel the energy in that room was infectious, and they're all gonna be friends. I mean, even Kylan and Xavier, I'm sure, will be friends, and they kind of are the only ones that really had like that true personal, like deep, big fight that kind of blew up. You know,
What do you think about the fact that? I mean, listen, I think Xavier's going to watch the footage back and be like, nah, I still feel the same way. That Kylan was disrespecting my family member. Kylan being like, nah, man, don't worry about it. You'll watch the tape back and you'll see that that's not what it was at all. What we did not have a podcast after that. Do you think that it was a classic tensions were high and this and that?
I think Kylan he complains a lot, and that was not the one to do it to. That was not the one to do it to. And Xavier was really calm, cool, and collected about the situation. Did it like a total pro because he is a total pro. That's why he won the season so well.
Yeah, but I definitely think
Ross is smart. She'll stay. I think Derek, Big D, and Kylan are kind of in for a little bit of a rude awakening when they get greeted by fans. Especially
what makes you say that? Like, because the fans appreciate people that play the game hard, and these people that just kind of were part of the alliance and didn't, in the audience's eyes, didn't make big moves. Now they did not have to. Did Ozza or Big D? I
think with those guys too, there's some stuff that kind of goes beyond the game that they just said, and I mean they were saying stuff like the girls in the cookout just don't even deserve to be there, and it was tough. I mean, hey, that's gonna bite you, especially when people like Hannah and Tiffany, and even Ozza are so loved. I mean, Tiffany won America's favorite player.
So, I mean, Tiffany played the game much harder than Ozza did. I mean, as far as I was gonna say, click on that comment. Derek talked himself out of Ozza taking him.
He absolutely destroyed his game this week.
Bold strategy. I mean, because we can talk like feed stuff now, and they showed a little bit of it on the show. But because Derek basically told Ozza that he doesn't respect their game, which is what she was saying, and basically said, "Hey, I don't know. It's just weird. Why would you go at somebody knowing that you have zero power going into that?"
I've never seen someone completely destroy their game in the last week like that. It was kind of weird.
It made me think, though, if you knew it was going to be a split vote, let's say it was a totally different scenario and you were the person that you knew you could not win that final HOH, right? Wouldn't it be interesting to pull both of them aside individually and almost blackmail them saying, I will not vote for you. If I'm in the jury, I will not give you my vote. You have to take me or you're going to lose the game.
I mean, hey, I'm sure someone could pull that off. This wasn't the house, but
yeah, no,
I think there is scenarios where they could have pulled that off.
That would be so interesting to see people do that. And I mean, you can't like personally blackmail someone, but being like, go ahead, I'm gonna be the one to cost you.
Yeah, Brittany was saying she'll never vote for Kylan. It's stuff like that.
Big D and Kylan suck. Yeah, I listen. All of the members of the cookout were on the same page and played all the same social game, with the exceptions of Tiffany played really hard. Big D played really hard and sometimes that he had to. That's why people are like, oh, well, what did Xavier do socially? They even mentioned it on the broadcast tonight. What did Xavier have to do? All he had to do was win comps when he had to win comps and be a vote when he needed to be a vote and be a voice of reason when he had to be a voice of reason. And that's it. And then when it got to the end of the game, he turned it up, kicked Kylan out of the house and won the game.
Had to do it. Got Big D to vote out Kylan for him. It's nuts.
You think Big D's going to regret that when he looks back at it or no?
No, because he got what he wanted. He was fine with second and just going to the final two in general.
Did Big D carry Ozza to the final three?
Oh God, it's kind of crazy that they made the final three when you think about like week 2 and 3, just where they were at.
the amount of times that Big D in the diary room just in this episode was like, Ozza, I carried you this entire game only for you to dump me final 2. I'm like, I don't know, man.
There was people did not really respect Ozza's game. She definitely had a game. It's just she had some not so bright moments that were, big and bold when she like volunteered to go on the block instead of Brittany. Stuff like that, like really kind of put a negative impact on her game. But she had a good game. I think Ozza would have been a perfectly fine winner. That being said, I don't think she would have beaten Xavier. So her not taking, her if she would have won hypothetically and then taking Xavier, I would have been like, well, that's kind of rough.
White Chungus says Big D is a terrible name. You can post it up there.
Brilliant name.
I think it's
Work
a
smart,
beautiful,
not hard. There you go, Emily. Absolutely.
Agreed. Big D's a terrible name. I mean, you're just upset that no one tells you that. So,
ouch.
Just so you guys know, we know him. We know him. All right. Actually, he's on the Minecraft server right now.
It is kind of cool that they call him Big D all season. That is pretty funny.
It's eventually people just get accustomed to it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Brittany. That was another thing that happened on tonight's episode. I'm glad that we didn't get a proposal via Zoom. I was very afraid that was going to happen.
The Zoom was just awkward. It felt so awkward every time they panned to it.
I know. But talking about Brittany or Brittini, if we want to call her Brittini one more time.
Very emotional, Jacob.
We can go to this.
No, yeah, it's just Ozza playing too emotional. Yeah, I think that pretty much would have been the final straw if she took Xavier, for example. Yeah. Just kind of piggybacking off of that point.
Yeah, I got you. So with Brittany standing up and wanting to talk about, kind of how she's been diagnosed forever with autism. And a lot of people don't understand autism because I can already see what's going to happen. People are going to beat up on Brittany online saying she's not autistic. It's going to happen. There's people. So when we talk about autism, because I'm a teacher, so when we talk about autism and you talk about a spectrum, the reason it's called a spectrum is because you got to think of autism as many different colors. So instead of thinking it as like autism is this and there's different levels of severity, autism is seen in many different colors. So the color blue and the color red are obviously very different. So there are very, very different kinds of autism and then different intensity that go with it. So if Brittany has a very high functioning bit of autism, a lot of the times it just has to do with basically processing of information. And so obviously she's very high functioning, but at the same time, that's really brave of her to be like, hey, I have always the spectrum's individual. So because it affects everyone differently. So obviously, I think Brittany played really great and she got a lot of people to love her and she's going to be a fan favorite online. And regardless of if you liked her rap or not, raps, actually, multiple raps.
She just had great high energy.
Yeah. And she's just a joy to be around. And I love that she kind of going the opposite way of like the whole
nice comment from Emily.
Thank you, Emily. So something that I applaud about Brittany not revealing that information is kind of the opposite, right? Of I don't want to tell people my profession because if I tell them I'm a lawyer, then they might cut me early because I don't need the money and then I can't make relationships because of my job. Brittany absolutely could have told people that she has always dealt with autism and how she's dealt with the disease every day and then played the sympathy card. And then people would have kept her around and maybe she would have stayed in the game longer. But she's like, no, I don't want to do that. That's terrible. I'm not going to use a disease, to try to win some votes. That's what, what's her face? Raven with her inverted spine and her, she had like 60 different things.
Yeah.
To go.
That was tough.
Don't worry, Emily. I understand. God, right? Charlie knows. I understand. So Ozza representing. She played for the culture, but autism. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of an awkward timing, but it's fine. But yeah, I respect. Once again, going back to Ozza. Inverted spine sounds rough. It must have been hard.
It can't exist.
It
literally means your head would be up your ass.
She was very stunning and brave.
Yes.
Are Raven and Matt still together, Charlie? Do we check in on them?
I have no idea.
All right, so moving on. Congratulations. Congratulations to Xavier. Congrats to Xavier. Congrats to Big D on second place. I know that $75,000, compared to $750,000 isn't a lot, but all of us sitting at home, Charlie, I think $75K, you could do a lot with $75,000, right?
Oh yeah,
that's what I make in 2 years.
Buy some gold chains, maybe a jet ski.
Buy a jet ski. Give me one of them gold jets on GTA.
Yes.
So, and congrats to Tiffany on America's Favorite Player. So
that made me feel so happy.
Agreed.
I was so happy about that.
Agreed. And then we got an announcement that in February we're getting the next iteration of Celebrity Big Brother. Charlie, right now on the spot, one dream celebrity in February to be on Celebrity Big Brother.
Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks. He's awesome. He loves the show. He always talks about it. I would love to see it. It didn't work out the last time, but Sam Levine would be awesome on the show. How about yourself?
I'm thinking the tackling machine, Blake Martinez, because Lord knows he's not going to be playing football in February.
Wow. Ouch. Ozzy got $50K for third. That's awesome.
Let's get Daniel Jones on Big Brother.
That's a nice one.
Yes.
Yes. Pooh Shiesty.
Oh, no. All right. Drop right now. One celebrity. So depressed Tiffany didn't win. But she got a
Tiffany was my favorite player. That's what we've been saying the whole time. Tiffany was my favorite, but she just kind of got. And unfortunately for Tiffany's game, for her to win, it would have been breaking up the cookout. And she just had a bigger goal in mind than that. So,
I agree with Funky Monkey, by the way. Anyway, Survivor's Bomb at the moment. I really enjoyed the premiere.
Nice. Okay.
I don't think I'm a little angry. I got a little angry. Flipped over. And the classic, I flipped over 1 minute before it started. That way I get to watch all of Big Brother. Guess what? I saw who got voted out. So I didn't watch the episode live because Brittany, my girlfriend, is sick. So she went to bed early. I, plan on watching back the episode. Guess what? I already know who goes home. Now, tomorrow night, hopefully she's feeling better. I got to pretend I don't know what's happening.
Always have to do it, man. Hey,
ridiculous. I'm going to be like, property oh my sometimes. God, I can't believe that person went home.
Glad Derek X is going to get a lot of love after this show, at least.
Hey, you see those abs on Derek X on the episode tonight?
That was awesome. Yo, this final HOH was not like a complete RNG.
No.
You actually had to know stuff. They need to do this from now on. I'm not even kidding.
What do you think about Ozza getting the what was she taking notes with? Like cake mix or something? Sprinkles from a birthday cake? Did you see that?
Genius. I did not actually. That's awesome.
Yeah, she was taking notes using dots. So the rule is even if you find something to write with, you can't write letters or numbers. And she was using like birthday cake sprinkles stuck onto a board of some sort to help her study.
Hey.
And she got 7 out of 8. I think that Xavier is just like a literal genius. So
he was so fast with that shit, man.
Oh my God.
It was nuts.
Hey man, suspicious?
No.
Was production
he's just too good. He's too good.
No, as soon as he would see the answer that was incorrect, he'd just stand there with the card in his hand. And as soon as all three were ready, he'd stick the answer up. Just don't let her know that menopause can last up to 10 years. True. I need to stop. No, but this is good. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, I'm sorry for the past 3 weeks we haven't had a pod. But
whereas with Celebrity Big Brother, it's Fast and the Furious, and it's, it's a 3-4 week long show, and we're that's when we get to do them a bunch because Celebrity Big Brother is a lot of fun.
You know what we got to do, Charlie? We got to get a search of our own. Get a third podcast member going on. We should have people send in video submissions to Visokii@gmail.com.
Yes. Or just ask if you want to do it. Probably let you on.
or just hit me up on Twitter. That works too. Anyway,
that'd be fun to do for Celebrity Big Brother. So if any of you guys want to hop in with us,
Funky Monkey Emily, I haven't seen yet. White Chungus wants Pooh Shiesty. Charlie, who'd you say?
Sam Levine.
Sam Levine. Mike says I'm in. No, you're not allowed.
I've watched The Circle with White Chungus. He knows what some good gameplay is. The Circle just had the greatest winner in the history of the show, by the way. If you guys are not watching that show, please start. I did a review of season 1. I loved season 1.
Charlie already has a strategy for The Circle. His strategy
I'm
is
cutting promos at the camera all day.
He said that his strategy is to go on The Circle and pretend to be me.
I'm going to say you're a dog sitter.
Okay.
Someone got voted out of The Circle for not kissing their dog in the mouth, by the way.
For not kissing their dog on the mouth? Charlie, how's Love Island, man? Checking in.
It was great. Love Island's only like a month long.
Oh, who won? Was it a deserved winner couple?
Corey, the GOAT, man.
Corey
and Olivia. What are the odds they're still together? I have no idea. But that's where we're at.
All right. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I would say that I want to do like Survivor reviews, but I'm real busy and I'm playing softball probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays coming up soon. So I'm busy.
Celebrity Big Brother
in February. They always try to get people on there that are affiliated with CBS.
Probably like doing 3 of these a week in February, guys.
All I'm saying is it's about time. I think we need to get Julie in the Big Brother house as a celebrity. Come on, Julie. You know it. You know the game inside and out. Can we bring back the old casting director that everyone's glad she's gone?
You need to leave.
Hell no.
No, who Allison? Was that her name?
Oh, no. Allison's still the producer.
Oh, no. Okay. She's a producer.
Yeah.
Who is the casting director that they fired?
It was Robin Cash. She does Canada still.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Can't wait to see you guys again. I can't wait to see you guys again. That's why I wish I wasn't so busy during these nights and stuff, but
that's
who
what's
knows
nice about it being February and stuff. Makes it much easier.
Anyway, stay safe, everyone. And hit me up on Twitter at Visokii Tweets. Easy. VISOKII tweets. I try to repost funny things, and I tag Dart in a lot of posts when he's out of control. So anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. Click the little bell. Bing! So you know when we go live. And until next time, guys, see ya.